Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and a very warm welcome to Government House Yumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather and recognise any other people or families with connection to the ACT and region. I respect their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the city and the surrounding region. And I also acknowledge and welcome other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be here with us this morning or watching online. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Governor-General's Official Secretary. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm the Secretary for the Council for the Order of Australia, the body which makes recommendation in the Order's General Division to the Governor-General, who is both Chancellor of the Order and the Principal Companion of the Order. And I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for Bravery Awards. Before we start the ceremony this morning, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests, Major General Chris Smith, representing the Chief of the Army, Air Commodore James Badgery, representing the Chief of Air Force, Dr Gordon de Brouwer, Commissioner, Australian Public Service Commission, Commissioner Reece Kershaw, Commissioner of the Australian Federal Police, and Dr Brian Babington, representing the National President of the Order of Australia Association. Welcome all. The Australian honour system provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise ordinary people who do extraordinary things. And since its inception in 1975, almost 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. And the Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service. And it's important to note that nominations come from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their friends, their families, and their communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. And my colleagues and I here at Government House are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that service. And we look forward to making this morning a day that you'll recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General, Mrs Hurley, and then please remain standing and join in the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, they'll return via the central aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room, and it's at this point you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause. At the conclusion of the investiture, the Governor-General will say a few words, and then we'll invite the recipients to join with Their Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photo. After the photograph, we'll invite guests to join with recipients and Their Excellencies in the dining room, or if the weather's pleasant, out on the lakeside terrace where refreshments will be served. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Would you please stand if you're able for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good morning, and can I add my and Linda's warm welcome to those you've received this morning to Government House at Yarralumla for a very special occasion in the life of our recipients, our families and their friends, and indeed for our nation, because today is just a superb occasion where we acknowledge contributions to us as a people, like the community, to the international level. Could I also begin by acknowledging the Ngunnawal people as the traditional owners and custodians of this area of our country and other families associated with the region. I think many of you are Canberrans here. You'll know how beautiful it is around here with the Madji, the Brindabellas, the Murrumbidgee. We thank the Ngunnawal and other families for looking after it for us for generation after generation. Special occasion. Everyone's in their finery today. The military have all come up dressed splendidly, and the police force show it should be. But as formal as we might be, in one sense, please do relax. This is a day of celebration where we really get to say thank you to some superb Australians. What I like about the Australian Honours and Awards system is I think it has at least one, which is possibly a unique characteristic internationally. Ours is a bottom-up system. So what do I mean by that? I don't sit at my desk thinking about all the people I've met as Linda and I have travelled around during the year and think, so-and-so, Bill, Jenny, Bob deserves a medal, and come up with a list. Everyone in the General Division who walks through this door or the similar investiture ceremony at another government house in Australia has been nominated by someone in the community. So it's bottom up. It comes from you. It comes from people like us who see people in their community and say, I think that service merits consideration for recognition with an Australian honour. So it's our system and nominations drive it. So I'm going to issue some homework after the formal ceremony and to ask you to think about how you can assist in this process. We don't normally have school kids come here with a bit of time off today and get homework, but for you today. So please just watch what happens and the nature of recognition in the General Division. So that's the non-military or police people who are not acknowledged today. There's another thing I like about, another aspect I like about the Honours and Awards system is today is not an endpoint for our recipients. They don't receive the medal today and stop working. It's one of the great characteristics, the goodness of people in Australia that Linda and I see every day, that they continue working. Yes, this is recognition, but they continue working. And another aspect is humility. Everyone who comes through that door will say, I don't do this for a medal. And there are other people who are working harder than me who should be recognised. So to the recipients in particular, that humility is delightful, but today I give you permission to be a bit boastful because your nation is saying thank you to you. And please accept that as it's meant. The final point I'd make before we begin the formal presentation is just to say thank you to family, particularly partners of those who are receiving acknowledgement today. I know fully that this is a team effort to enable people to do what they do for our community and the work that they do. And we were deeply grateful to you for your contribution. This day is as much about recognising what you have contributed as it is for our recipients. And if I was a bit tongue-in-cheek, I would say they get their bling today, they might take you shopping. Balance the scales here a bit. But we do thank you for your contribution and for friends who have supported on the way. So on that note, I'll now begin the formal investiture ceremony.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Mr. Ivan Slavich, for significant service to business and to the community through governance and philanthropic endeavours. Mr. Slavich has made an invaluable contribution to the Canberra community over many years. He's been an effective business leader in various entities, including Service One Alliance Bank, ActuAGL and Energy Action. He's also devoted significant time and energy to charitable groups such as Camp Quality, Ronald McDonald House and Movember, and his efforts have raised significant funds to enable these groups to provide much needed support and assistance. In 2019, he was appointed the Chief Executive Officer of Soldier On and has grown that organisation's ability to help veterans and their families. Mr. Slavich is a prime example of how one person can make a difference to the lives of many. Mr. Ivan Slavich, appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Clinical Associate Professor Kathleen Tims, for significant service to rheumatology and to professional associations. Dr. Tims has shown outstanding dedication to children and adults living with arthritis and rheumatological problems. She's been the sole specialist for children with juvenile arthritis in Canberra and the surrounding region for over 3 decades. She's an active member of the Australian Paediatric Rheumatology Group and has been an inspiring mentor of the next generation of rheumatologists. Additionally, she has served on a range of professional organisations and has led clinical trials and research projects to improve health outcomes for patients. Dr. Tims is held in the highest regard by colleagues and patients for her care, compassion and commitment. Clinical Associate Professor Kathleen Tims, appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr. Richard Adams, for service to the community of Mogo. Mr. Adams has been a leading volunteer and contributor to the community of Mogo over a number of years. He drove the establishment of the Mogo Village Business Chamber Limited and was elected as the inaugural president, a role he still holds to this day. He's been a staunch advocate for the re-establishment of the Mogo Development Control Plan and has been key to the rebuilding of the town following the devastating 2019-20 Black Summer bushfires. Mr. Adams epitomises the very best of Australian community leadership and service. Mr. Richard Adams, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Kira Cox, for service to softball. Ms. Cox has shown an unshakable dedication to softball as a player, elite official and coach. As a player, she represented New South Wales with distinction, helping her team to win 2 national titles. She's also had a distinguished career as an umpire, and her expertise resulted in her being appointed as a plate umpire to the gold medal game between Japan and the United States at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. This was the first time an Australian had been appointed to this position. Ms. Cox is a driving force for cultural change across softball and is a role model, mentor and effective advocate for young female officials. Ms. Kira Cox, awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr. David Hatherley, for service to the community of the Australian Capital Territory. Mr. Hatherley is an inspiring and generous member of the community of the Canberra region. He's been a volunteer with a range of local organisations for many years, including with Greening Australia, where he assisted in the restoration of areas of the ACT affected by the 2003 bushfires. He also provided vital assistance in the ACT's Emergency Service Agency's Operations Centre during the devastating 2019-20 Black Summer fires. Additionally, he has given generously of his time as a guide with the National Capital Authority. Mr. Hatherley is a tireless servant of the community and an example to us all. Mr. David Hatherley awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Ruth Osborne, for service to the performing arts, particularly dance. Ms. Osborne is an avid supporter of the performing arts, particularly for young dancers, choreographers and composers. She served on the boards of many organisations, including AusDance WA, the Western Australian Ballet and the West Australian Academy of Performing Arts Advisory Panels. Now, as the Artistic Director of QL2 Dance School in Canberra, she continues to support young people in expressing their identity and developing confidence. One of her most important contributions has been placing Australian youth dance on the world stage. Ms. Osborne's energy and passion have been the driving force behind her unique contribution to the arts. Ms. Ruth Osborne awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Dr. Christopher Watson, for service to the community of Belconnen. Dr. Watson has worked diligently to improve the lives of residents of the Belconnen region. He's been an active member of the community and currently chairs the Voices of West Belconnen Action Group, advocating for improved use of land resources and issues relating to the environment and conservation. He's also given of his time to organisations such as the Save Latham Shops Advocacy Group, the Save Kippax Playing Fields Action Group and the Ginninderra Falls Association. Dr. Watson has served his community with enthusiasm, energy and commitment, and his efforts merit our recognition. Dr. Christopher Watson awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Decorations. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Group Captain Angeline Lewis, for outstanding achievement in the provision of legal services to the Australian Defence Force. Group Captain Lewis has provided practical advice to Air Force senior leaders regarding the management of complex and sensitive personnel matters that are before military or civilian courts and tribunals. Her collaborative approach has ensured that civilian legal counsel representing the Commonwealth have been of a high level to effectively defend the Commonwealth's interests. Her legal skills have been sought by other areas in Defence, and she is also consulted for the Royal Commission on Defence and Veteran Suicide Task Force. Group Captain Lewis has displayed superior legal expertise that has been of great benefit to the Australian Defence Force. Group Captain Angeline Lewis awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Warrant Officer Class 1, Damen Chung, for meritorious achievement as Career Manager, Electronic Warfare Operator. Warrant Officer Chung has provided exceptional service to the Army by confidently dealing with workforce challenges, working tirelessly to meet Chief of Defence Force staffing priorities, whilst balancing soldiers' personal and professional needs. He's made key contributions to the development of the Army Business Management System and numerous workforce segment reviews. Warrant Officer Chung has ensured that soldiers within the electronic warfare operator trade are supported and that their trade is represented with the highest degree of professionalism. Warrant Officer Class 1, Damen Chung, awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Lieutenant Colonel Mang Wang, for meritorious achievement as the Staff Officer Grade 1 Rotary Wing Development, Headquarters Aviation Command. Lieutenant Colonel Wang has enabled the rapid progression of Army aviation modernisation requirements through a period of great complexity. In 2022, he demonstrated personal commitment and leadership by empowering his team to generate options to rapidly replace the MRH-90 Taipan helicopter fleet. His systematic approach enabled the project to be stewarded from initiation to government approval in less than 12 months, an achievement that would not have been possible without his collaborative engagement with key stakeholders. Lieutenant Colonel Wang has made a meritorious contribution to the future of Army aviation capability. Lieutenant Colonel Mang Wang awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. We move now to the Meritorious Service Awards. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Mr. Rodney Dix, for outstanding public service to environmental protection services across the ACT. Mr. Dix has led an environment protection team within the Environment Protection Authority in Access Canberra for over 20 years. During his time, he's excelled in customer service while delivering positive environmental outcomes. Where serious environmental harm occurs, he and his team protect people and property while preventing contamination of water, land and air. His expert stewardship has ensured that Access Canberra and Protection Authority accountability and compliance frameworks are upheld, with all parties treated with respect and educational approaches used before any regulatory action is taken. Mr. Dix also plays a key role in issuing environmental authorisations to manage noise at Canberra's major events. Mr. Rodney Dix awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Jenny Priest, for outstanding public service in leading the delivery of business support grants to businesses in the ACT impacted by COVID-19. Ms Priest served with distinction in a range of public service roles during a career that spanned 35 years. As an Executive Manager in the ACT Chief Minister's Directorate, she was tasked with the delivery of the Business Support Grant Program to support over 11,000 local businesses during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Additionally, she also served as the lead for a multi-year project which secured a $1 billion investment from the University of New South Wales to build a new campus in Canberra. Ms Priest has displayed the highest levels of leadership, integrity and commitment to her work, which has provided notable benefits to our community. Ms Jenny Priest, awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Public Service Medal, Ms Joanne Wood, for outstanding public service in supporting vulnerable Canberrans throughout the ACT's COVID-19 response. Ms Wood was responsible for leading the ACT Community Service Directorate's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. She led the groundwork to establish the Ragusa Quarantine Facility that catered to women and children fleeing domestic violence, homeless people, those with drug and alcohol issues, and people from a variety of cultural backgrounds. She engaged with community sector partners to provide on-the-ground services that were required for people to be able to comply with quarantine requirements. Ms Wood has demonstrated a clear focus on supporting the most vulnerable in our community. Ms Joanne Wood, awarded the Public Service Medal. Awarded the Australian Police Medal, Detective Chief Inspector Neil Gray, for distinguished service to the New South Wales Police Force in a range of roles, particularly to critical incident investigations. Detective Chief Inspector Gray commenced in the New South Wales Police Force in 1986, later transferring to the Criminal Investigations Section and then the Anti-Theft Unit. Now at the Monaro Local Area Command, he has built effective working relationships with police operating in Canberra, which were vital to tackling cross-border crime. As the most senior and experienced detective within the district, he has led critical incident investigations teams, and he's also the alternate local emergency operations controller during the 2019-20 bushfires. Detective Chief Inspector Gray has served the community of Monaro with distinction, and his achievements reflect the finest traditions of New South Wales policing. Detective Chief Inspector Neil Gray, awarded the Australian Police Medal. Awarded the Australian Police Medal, Chief Superintendent Toby Lindsay, for outstanding service to the New South Wales Police Force, particularly in the area of international relations and education. Chief Superintendent Lindsay has served in many areas of New South Wales policing, including at the far south coast and Richmond districts. He was seconded to the United Nations in East Timor as part of the 5th Australian Police Contingent, where he was tasked with assisting with policing, crash investigations and border controls. He's also played a significant role as Emergency Operations Controller during the North Coast bushfires in 2018, 2019 and again in 2020. Chief Superintendent Lindsay's leadership in police recruit education positions has resulted in many thousands of recruits commencing in the service, and he continues to motivate student police officers to serve their community. Chief Superintendent Toby Lindsay awarded the Australian Police Medal. Awarded the Australian Police Medal, Commander Melinda Phelan, for distinguished service to the Australian Federal Police, particularly in the area of international relations in the Pacific region. Commander Phelan has gained extensive experience working with national and international law enforcement agencies to successfully disrupt and dismantle transnational criminal syndicates. As Superintendent in the International Command responsible for the Asia, America, Middle East and Europe desks, she successfully focused her efforts to reduce counter-terrorism and covert activities. Additionally, she deployed as part of the AFP's humanitarian response to the Boxing Day tsunami in Asia, where she worked as a family investigations liaison officer. Commander Phelan is held in high regard by her colleagues and is a role model for women in policing. Commander Melinda Phelan awarded the Australian Police Medal. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this morning.
We've acknowledged each of our recipients individually. I think it'd be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Congratulations all. Well, we've seen, particularly in the General Division, a range of contributions to our community, from dance to sport to community organisations. Your homework. You know people in your community who are doing similar work, making similar contributions to our country, who might merit consideration for acknowledgement in our honours and awards system. So please, your homework is to go back, have a think about this, who's out there, and nominate. Paul will explain in a minute how to nominate. Now, I won't be here to mark your homework, but my successor will, and they'll mark it by someone appearing in that door in subsequent years. So please go back and think about this. Who's out there that should be recognised? While you're doing it, a couple of factors to think about. One, representation of women in the order. Now, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've managed to bring our representation of women to 50-50, roughly on each list, and it's where it should be. We are still not reflecting our national makeup in terms of our multicultural background or Indigenous members of our community. So again, think about those factors as to who could be in your community you think merits consideration. As I say, nominating is not a difficult process, but it is our system, and without nominations, people won't be recognised. It's as simple as that. There's your homework. I wish you well. Again, to families and particularly partners, thank you for your contribution. I look forward to catching up with you as we celebrate in a few moments' time, and thanking you personally for what you've given to our country. A day of celebration, a day to say we are seeing the best of Australia, a day to be grateful for what these people have contributed. And indeed, it's days like this that really give me optimism for our country. Not trendy to say that apparently at times in Australia, but I'm optimistic because of the quality of our people, and we're seeing a microcosm of that today. Congratulations and enjoy your morning here. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework that the Governor-General has set this morning, I do encourage you to access the online nomination form, which is available on the Governor-General's website at www.gg.gov.au. As the Governor-General has said, it's a relatively straightforward process, and we look forward to welcoming those that have been successful through that process back here to an investiture such as this in the future. I now invite the recipients to join with Her Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph, and for guests to head through to the dining room and out onto the lakeside terrace where refreshments will be served. Would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs. Hurley.